So, like many of you, I've got lots of these buffer stops that come with the Hornby sets, and they're okay. They've got a reasonable amount of detail on them, but they're not perfect. But then looking at real buffer stops, no buffer stop seems to be exactly the same. You go to different stations, they've all been done slightly differently. Some are made of wood, some are made of just old rail that's been bent, and others are actually quite like this. They're bent rail, they've got wood on them. So what I'm going to do today is do a quick update to this, so that from my accessory bus I can turn these on and off with a little red light. Now I've got some very tiny red LEDs. These are 1.8mm LEDs, and I had the thought that these would just sit in there just nicely and be quite hidden, so that just from track level you would just get the little burst of red light coming from it without having a huge hole in the back. So I'm going to attempt to fit one of those today and hide as much of the wiring down into the baseboard between the tracks. So while that's on, the wiring is going to go down. And to do that, what I'm actually going to do is I'm actually going to use some black wire on both sides, just so it's all hidden and kept in the frame. So first of all, we need a little hole. Now the idea of this hole is just to get the legs of the LED through. So I'm not looking for a massive hole, and realistically I would like 2 little pinholes. So there we go, I've got 2 little pinholes, roughly centre, and I'll now be able to just drop my LED straight into the centre, and just perfectly it'll just sit there. It's not quite centre, so just try for another. Almost through it. So there, we've now got our LED able to sit in the middle, and it's not quite sitting exactly as I wanted it to, but it's close enough and the little pit of the LED is 1.5 millimeters. So now what I'm going to do is now that I've got the spacing right, is I'm actually going to do the wiring for it. And the way that I want the wiring to come is I want it to come down the center leg, following that down. So I've got some solid core black wire here. Grab my strippers. And essentially what I want to try and do is bend the LED legs I could probably actually just do this with the LED legs. If I can get that in. Down through there. So there, we've got one LED leg going straight down, and I'll be able to do that with the other one as well. Just bend that round. It's a little bit fiddly. And then straighten that up. So there we've got the LED legs coming down, and the LED is now quite firmly sat in there. And bring the soldering iron in. What I'll do is, I'm now not sure which side is which. is I've just got a battery box here which I can put in the two AA batteries and test which way around. Which way around my wires should go. So there we go. So black on that side, red on that side. So there we go, that's just now got our wiring to go underneath the baseboard and can go to our accessory bus. And what I'm going to do is just drip in a tiny bit of glue that's just going to hold that LED in place. Because if we knock our wiring underneath the baseboard, because we're directly on the LED legs there, we could dislodge it from where it should be. So now that we've got an LED there, we need a resistor, because our accessory voltage, my accessory voltage is 16 volts AC, because I use this old Hornby adapter, because when I'm using my DC, I'll use that, and my AC accessory bus will come from the 16 volts when I'm not using. So because of that, I need to put a resistor in. And we'll just strip this wire so that we can test it. And for resistors, I have a whole case of almost every kind of resistor you can think of. Most of them are suited for what we're doing, so I think a 220k should do us for this. We'll just cut this a little bit shorter. And just tin my negative there. Just make sure I've got a good connection. There we go. Move that onto my solder joint. Now, because I've got my end, I can just slip the heat shrink over so I don't need to put that on right away. There we go, that's it now solidified. So that's my resistor in line there. So I've left a fair amount of wire before the resistor, and that's just in case I'm doing multiple, because I don't know where this particular one's going to go. If it's in multiple lines, I'll link them all together. And we'll just shrink this down just now. I just use the edge of my soldering iron to shrink it down. It just takes a minute or two just to warm it up to get it to shrink down properly. So there we go, that's my resistor, and any hole I make in the baseboard, that's going to go through. So as you can see, we'll just give this a quick test. Now, as this is AC, I can put my connections on either terminal. And there we go, I've got my little LED on there. It's not super bright, but it wouldn't be super bright, and it will be a bit flickery on the AC, but I think that is the perfect level of brightness that it would need just for that end stop, as it wouldn't be a really bright light. And then what I'll do is I'll just put a drop or two of glue on the back, and then when I'm weathering this up, I'll paint the wires black. And that's just a quick conversion of what otherwise could be a fairly boring and mundane buffer stop.